protect you.
Eee! Please don't kill Arden, oh my god! Hey internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to Chess of Blades. So we're going to continue where we left off. And, well, we're going to see how, if we can find the mystery hooded person that we ran into. Because that guy was kind of weird and then he disappeared out of nowhere, so... Anyway, let's continue. Let's see. We can go along each other of the doors in this hallway and try to listen for anything that sounds like his voice. A bit tedious, but...
Riv? His room is right here.
Oh yeah, we're looking for Linnaeus. How do you know he's there, though? When I turn towards Arden, I see him standing confidently in front of one of the doors.
He caught me sneaking out the other day, remember?
Right.
He brought me back to his room to question me about what I was doing.
And you didn't say this sooner because? When I bristle at him, he flinches. A light, bare shade of pink coloring his cheeks.
I just didn't want you to think I was doing any strange things with him, you know?
He's like, I'm not doing anything weird, please still like me. I really can't believe this man sometimes. Seriously? Just a guess? But I'm fairly sure you're not his type, Arden. Well, go on. Knock on the damn door already. Clearing his throat, he hastily taps his knuckles on the door a few times. I hear a faint but audible groan from inside in response. A moment later, and the door reluctantly pulls back a few inches.
What do you want?
Ah, Linnaeus, you're looking well. We had some questions about Hazel's kidnapping, and I heard you were the man to talk to.
Yes, well, I'm quite busy at the moment. Can't you go cavort around somewhere else and come back later?
Please. We're doing all we can to find Hazel, Linnaeus.
Whoa.
You have to work with us. Please?
Also, I realize I've been saying his name wrong just now that Arden just said it, so it's Linnaeus. Oh my god. Arden gives Linnaeus the same puppy dog eyes he's so fond of giving me. Wasn't I supposed to be the only one he used those on? Oh, are we getting jealous? Rivian, are you getting jealous?
Fine, fine. I will entertain your idiocy if it makes you leave faster. But only for a few minutes.
Oh god. Wow, he has a nice room. Holy crap. Sighing heavily, Linnaeus opens the door all the way and patiently waves us inside. His room is an office-like compared to mine, almost like a miniature library, although standard bedroom furnishing are still present. Jesus. A few elegant coats are laid out over the set of drawers nearby, and I eye them curiously. Couldn't decide on what to wear,
Did you come to make comments about my superior fashion sense? Or are you here to ask pertinent questions about the matter at hand?
I don't know why, but Linnaeus actually reminds me of Dorian from Dragon Age Inquisition, like a little, because Dorian's a little more sassier than Linnaeus, and a lot more laid back, but like, they have the same like, way of talking, the same mannerisms, and you can hear the sass coming from this man, so... Without so much as offering us a seat, he closes the door and turns to watch us expectantly, his nose wrinkling a little. I glance at Arden, but now that he's won us a few moments of conversation, he seems content to stand by and let me do the talking. Well, I guess I don't have to keep him around for this oratorical skills. About Hazel, I think I figured out her kidnapper's route. He must have dropped somewhere in the servants' quarters in the storage room, one level down, and then fled through the hallway. There's a silver key lying on the floor, but, I lost track of it.
You lost track?
Are we not gonna tell him? I guess he wouldn't want to say, because he did say to Arden, we're not gonna talk about the dude who threw a knife at him, because then the guards would look for the guy with the knife instead of Hazel. So, I guess it makes sense? Unfortunate circumstances occurred. I had to leave the room momentarily, and I came back to find it gone. It was definitely there, though. Linnaeus stares at me in disbelief, and if I somehow transcended the boundaries of moral stupidity. Eventually, though, he pinches the bridge of his nose and shakes his head faintly.
Gods have mercy. Well, if things truly line up the way you suggest, then it is possible that key will lead us to wherever Hazel may be.
How weird would it be if Hazel's still actually in this place? Like, in the castle, they just locked her away somewhere.
However, there are some disturbing possibilities as to the kidnapper's motives that I have been investigating.
Disturbing possibilities? Linnaeus grimaces, his eyes flashing darkly behind his glasses. He walks past me for a moment, approaching his desk and picking a book off the surface, offering it in my direction with a curl of his lip in distaste. I flip it open curiously and notice a specific page is marked. The Disciples of Ignitus? When I read out the ominous-sounding name, Linnaeus nods his head gravely.
Correct. It is an organization, a cult essentially.
Oh, great!
That seeks to undermine unjust rulership and political alliances in pursuit of total anarchy. They usually employ blackmail and ransoming, although rituals are not unheard of.
Is this what Franz was talking about? Was he talking about these people? Not specifically, the people in the ballroom. Maybe that was just for a loop, or he's just assuming they're blending in to make them look like noblemen, but they're actually like cult people? Oh, great. I didn't think that they were gonna pull in cults in this game. Alright, that's nice.
This type of behavior is very much in line with their past actions. And so, I suspect one or more of their members is the guilty party we seek. The disciples' aim is likely to create feelings of ill will between the king and his important foreign guests.
Okay.
Since foreigners are most suspect in crimes like these.
True. He frowns then, adjusting his glasses with a look of puzzlement.
It is strange, however, that Hazel was kidnapped, and not someone more important to relations. Say Miss Celeste, who is one of the ambassador's daughters.
I find that kind of weird too. It's just like, why would they steal like a servant girl rather than like a noble person? Because you would get more leverage from a noble person, right? And also, like, I like Celeste, but I hope she's not a bad person. She kind of gives me like weird vibes because she winked at us when we were talking to Emily, and she kind of appeared out of nowhere. It's just like, I don't know. All this sounds kind of weird. I don't know. Wait, she's...
An ambassador's daughter.
Linnaeus unmusedly glares at us when Arden finishes my shocked sentence. There was something that seemed different about Celeste's appearance and mannerism, but I wasn't able to place it before. It makes much sense now.
Indeed. She seems a much more suitable target.
Yeah.
However, it is possible that the maid knows something else. I had the sense that not all was as it seemed with her.
I think it's more with Hazel, not the mother.
You may take that book, as I have another copy with me.
Oh, how convenient.
Any further questions you have are better directed to Demily, for I know little else. I doubt you'll be able to catch her until tomorrow, as she's currently being kept under the guard's protection. The poor maid.
An uncomfortable feeling of apprehension wells inside of me.
There is much more here than meets the eye, Varrison. But I would take care in how you investigate your unknown opponents. In a setting like this, you're playing a dangerous game indeed.
Yup. Linnaeus' tone is grave as he watches me intensely, his gaze narrowing ever so lightly. For a brief moment, the corners of his lips curl into ever slightly upward, making his expression all more cryptic. And then...
Well, thank you for your visit. It's quite time for me to return to my work, so shoo-shoo, ta-ta, out you go.
Okay, thanks. Quickly recovering, Linnaeus ushers a half-shocked Arden and me out into the hall, giving us a brief wait before slamming the door shut behind us. Well, that was not the information I was expecting to receive.
That makes two of us.
I glanced down at the book in my hand, its pages still open to the cult's crest. Celeste is an ambassador's daughter, but they took a maid's daughter instead? Something here is definitely not right. Maybe it's a distraction, I don't know. Arden, I have a bad feeling about this. Biting my lip, I grab Arden's hand to break in a half-jog towards my room. He stays silent and hurries along behind me, which just shows how serious he perceives the situation to be. When we're inside, I close and lock the door, but I hesitate. Someone could probably still hear us from the crack underneath. I motion Arden to follow me out into the balcony where the rain stopped outside, then left the stone floor stained dark with moisture. Once we are out of earshot of anyone behind the door, I make sure Franz isn't lurking on the opposite balcony. I turn to Arden with a deep breath. They should have used code names, you know? That would probably work. There's probably someone hiding in the fucking, like, vines or something. You don't know. Celeste, what if she or her father orchestrated the kidnapping? Arden's eyes widen at my statement, but he doesn't look that shocked. In fact, he seems more reluctant than anything, as if he's mulling over the same idea but was too uncertain to actually voice it. Celeste was there right as Emily rushed in, but that doesn't mean she or her father didn't have someone else do the dirty work. Not to mention how quickly Celeste was to go over to her. That seems a little odd, don't you think? It is!
I believe she's part of the cult? That she wants to undermine His Majesty's rule?
Maybe she's not like a cult member, but maybe she's like something else, or like a distraction. I don't know. It's just weird that she's just like conveniently there. It's kind of like how I feel about Silas. He's kind of conveniently there. What if he's the cult member? I don't know. Well, it's not like I have a concrete evidence or anything, but she's definitely involved somehow. I suspected it before, but knowing she's an ambassador's daughter confirms it. If father were here, he'd say something tried, like, but truthful, like, rather than judging your opponent's movements, study what they do before they strike.
Before and after Hazel's kidnapping, there was the dinner and the announcement, where everyone was gathered. Celeste and her father had a perfect alibi, didn't they?
And everyone saw and heard the kidnapping, so there was no way for the king to hush it up. It makes him look incompetent and the ambassador look innocent. Arden and I stared at each other for a few moments, trying to connect the pieces in our heads. He blinks first, casting his gaze to the one side thoughtfully, hesitant expression in his eyes.
If it's really true, then maybe they're trying to turn the other ambassadors against the king.
Maybe.
And if that's the case, I doubt they'll stop at just a kidnapping. Don't you, Riv?
Arden suddenly looks at me with a particularly concerned gaze, and I can sense his bristling, protective shift in stance. Are you saying that they want to kill me? Don't make such a scary face, Arden. I thought we already went through all of this. To my surprise, his brow furrows deeply and his cheeks take a big hue. Oh my god.
But what if they do something worse? What if she blackmails you into marrying her?
And then you can't marry me! I mean, it's true. But all jokes aside, he does have a point because remember, Rivian is at that age where he's marriageable. Like, his family could be like, hey, marry this person, or you can marry this person and gain more power to the family and whatever. And despite the fact that Rivian is pretty much not straight, it doesn't matter because in these kind of times where, like, royalty and power are, like, in play, you don't have to love someone to marry them. So he has a point. So if Celeste really is a bad person, she could go to Rivian and, like, blackmail him somehow into marrying her so that they have an advantage over this. And they could possibly take Rivian's father into the conspiracy to go against the king. This is very bad. Looking completely serious, Arden bites his lower lip, watching me keenly. He's a bit thick sometimes, but he's not that silly. Let it go! Okay, is it bad that I kind of want to tease him? Because it's kind of obvious that Arden is in love with Rivian, and I don't want to say Rivian is dense, but he has to have some notion his childhood friend likes him, so I'm going to tease him. A faint smirk curls on my lips, and I drape my arm over Arden's shoulder and lean towards him. You're saying me getting married to someone would be the worst than in my death? That's a bit selfish, don't you think?
Riv.
His voice shakes a little at the proximity between us, and my cheek almost brushes his. A faint feeling of nostalgia burns my senses. Oh my god. In the old days, I was all over him like this, wasn't I? Wait! Were they all like touchy-feely all the time before? Like, they were flirting with each other, but they never did anything about it, and then maybe like, oh my god, okay wait, hang on. Whoa, I'm getting excited. I know we used to be so close, but I really thought you'd forgotten about me. After all, 4 years is a long time. What would you do if I told you I had a fiancé? His eyes blink, staring at me with clear anxiety. He's sizing me up to see if I'm lying, but clearly panicked. Oh, Arden. Would you be angry? Would you hit me? Would you hit them? Would you just turn and walk out like you did last night? Or would you congratulate me, like a friend? I know I'm being cruel. I didn't believe it at first, but it's becoming pretty clear that...
I'd attend your wedding. And I'd be happy for you.
Oh, that's actually really sad. Like, he's still willing to be like, hey, I'll, like, attend your wedding, even though it hurts me, and I'll be there for you. Arden, you're such a sweetheart! His voice is clearly strained. I don't even think he's putting any effort into it. Liar. After all, I mean, I wouldn't be able to give you attention anymore, wouldn't it? I'd be caught up in, What? Suddenly, I find my words cut off. Arden is... Oh my god! Is he kissing him? Oh shit! Okay, hang on. Whoa, 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 whoa! He used the arm I had around his shoulder to pull me closer, and before I could resist, smashing our lips together. It's not a long kiss, but he quickly breaks it, and it leaves me momentarily stunned. Ah! Yes! Oh my god! These are like childhood sweethearts coming back together. I just want to know why Rivian's so mad at him, though. Oh my god, this is freaking adorable. Look at them. Oh god, I'm gonna die. Alright. In the moment of weakness, Arden curls his arms firmly around me, tightening enough that it's obvious he's not messing around.
Riv, you still don't trust me, do you?
What are you... Stammering, I do my best to squirm away from him, but he just squeezes harder. Our faces are close together, and I can feel his breath tinkling my skin.
Maybe you can read me like a book, but it goes both ways. I can tell you still think I'm a joke.
Oh, it's hard to believe the serious, possessive gaze staring down at me is Arden. I knew something was up with him, but never in a million years did I think he'd act on it.
After
Oh,
all my
okay.
training, after I worked my way into the Royal Guard, you still think I'm just your clueless childhood friend.
Oh, so Riv knew that he had a crush on him. Oh my
You're
god.
different now, Riv. I learned a lot about what was important to me and what wasn't, and I became stronger.
Arden's arms tighten around me even more. For some stupid reason, my pulse feels completely out of control. His words hit the mark a lot closer than I thought.
How can I prove it to you? Should I enter the brawling tournaments and win something for you?
Oh my god. Wait, is that why they had a falling out? Like, Rivian was in love with Arden? Maybe he confessed and then Arden was like, I don't know what you're talking about, and left. But in reality, Arden did like him, but he just never did anything about it. Oh my god. Oh my heart, no. The image of Arden fighting that behemoth of a man we met earlier suddenly enters my mind. No. That's definitely 100% not necessary.
What do I have to do? How can I make you look at me the same way you look at someone like Linnaeus? Like someone you respect?
Oh, okay, so like, we're in love with him? What? Like Linnaeus? Well, I never thought about it, but I guess I do respect the Inquisitor for being incredibly hard-nosed bastard if nothing else. You don't have to do anything, you fool. You're overthinking it. Anyways. Clearly not buying it, Arden purses his lips at me doubtfully. My eyes flick down at his mouth. Gods, did he really just kiss me? I still can't believe it.
I promise you, Riv. I'll be there when you need me most. I'll find a way. If I can protect the king, I can protect you.
Eee! Please don't kill Arden. Oh my god. Maybe you should worry about protecting the king more than me, you know. Growing more flustered under his deeply sincere, longing gaze, I push roughly against his chest. Oh my god. I'm so happy. He lets go of me reluctantly, his fingertips not leaving my side until the last moment. If we have time to be having this discussion, we should be spending it on investigating, don't you think? It doesn't take a genius to see that investigating is the last thing on Arden's mind. However, he nods a little stiffly at my words, some in a mild mannerism returning. Well, maybe we should split up in efforts until the evening. How about you go to look into Celeste's background? I'll flip through this book Linnaeus gave me and see if I can find any clues. I steer Arden back inside, closing the balcony door behind us and gently nudging him towards the room's exit.
Will it be too obvious if I ask around? Once you realize we're onto them?
I think she has an idea because she winked at Riv. Be less obvious then. Don't ask directly. Just say you're interested in that you have a cousin interested in her or something, you know. At the door, Arden turns back to face me, placing a hand on the frame so that I can't shovel him outside.
I meant it, Riv.
He stares at me again, a particularly bright glimmer in his eyes. This is definitely the side of him I don't know well. When did he get so bold?
About entering the tournament.
He's gonna fight for our love! I said no! You're not fighting that rhinoceros of a man under any circumstances. Get the idea out of your damn head. I kick at Arden's shins until he finally goes into the hall, wincing at my assault. Without allowing him time to throw anything else at me, I shut the door quickly and lean heavily back against it. I really can't believe it. How have things changed so much? I should have been able to push him away and give him a solid punch for doing that without asking. But for some reason, I reacted as if things were the way they were before he left, 4 years ago. What? What? Were they in a relationship? Stupid blasted. Growling under my breath, I slink down into the chair beside the fireplace. Linnaeus' book lies next to me, still in the same place I tossed it when we entered the room earlier. That's right, I need to figure out more about this damned cult, not worry about Arden. But really, has anyone ever looked at me like that before? It's flattering, I have to admit. I suppose I know what smoldering gaze means now. Ugh, what a pitiful specimen of a man I am. I pick up the book and reopen it to the section about the disciples of Ignactus, dutifully forcing my back to a more coherent state of mind. As I sink back into the chair and bury myself in the lines of the text, I find myself looking for something without even realizing it. Something to explain why Celeste would be innocent. It doesn't make any sense, I know, but for some reason there's an element here that doesn't sit right with me the more I dwell on this case. I can't put my finger on what the missing link is, or what I'm unthinkably glossing over. The dreary afternoon wears on me as I keep combing over the pages, searching through the cult's history and the previous kidnappings, looking for any that remotely rings a bell. But there doesn't seem to be a clue of any sort that links to Hazel in this mess, other than being in the wrong place at the wrong time. As I scribble down a few more notes, and the page numbers might eventually be useful, my eyes grow heavy. Arden, I wonder if you found anything. That silly oaf. Wanting to prove himself so badly? Huh, cute. Stupid. Arden. He's like fighting himself. Oh god.
Sir Rivian?
Who's this? That voice.
Sir Rivian, are you in there?
Is that Celeste? Yes, coming! Bolting out of the chair, I fell asleep and I stumble over to the door. Oh, it's Emily! When I pull open the door, Emily stands there before me, blinking a little at what has to be my disheveled state.
Did I interrupt you in the middle of something, sir? I can leave.
No, not at all. Do come in. Still only half awake, I clumsily beckon for Emily to come inside. She hesitantly glances around for a moment, her eyes soon flicker back to me.
I was instructed by Sir Arden to come speak with you. About Miss Celeste?
Oh, okay. So he told her to come to me, huh? Can't believe you got past his jealousy enough to send a woman to my room.
It is true. I thought it rather curious that she was so eager to help me. Ladies of her breeding rarely stoop to dealing with servants.
Despite her words, Emily doesn't sound particularly accusing, but it's said a little sad.
She also whispered something to me before you came over, sir.
And what might that be?
She said, I know who the culprits are. Leave it to me. I didn't know what to think of it, but if it's as you say and she's truly hiding something...
Emily bites her lip, turning her head to one side hesitantly.
I just want my Hazel back, but I don't know if I can believe that Miss Celeste is involved like this.
She knows who the culprits are, but how? If only we had a little bit more to go off of. Emily, is there anything else you can tell me about Celeste, or the kidnapper, or about Hazel? For a brief moment, Emily's eyes go wide. There is an undeniable tense, guarded strain in her expression. But she quickly hides it, tucking a strand of her hair behind her ear and shaking her head without a dubious frown. Why, though?
I've already told all I can. I'm sorry, sir. I never meant for any of this to happen.
I don't understand. Like, your daughter is missing, yet you know something. She's hiding something, too. Her voice quivers ever so slightly, and I glimpse at the dark circles under her eyes as she raises her head to look at me. This poor woman is definitely hiding something. The fact that she won't tell me, even for Hazel's sake, means it has to be very serious indeed. Slightly quiet, I start to move back to the door where Emily suddenly perks up.
Oh, but there is one thing. I heard that you were looking for a silver key earlier.
How do you know that? Yes, I was. Wait, do you know what the key was for? Emily purses her lips together thoughtfully, tracing a finger along her cheek.
I'm afraid I've only been in this castle since His Majesty started preparing it for his guests about a month ago. I don't know of any missing key, unfortunately.
Okay.
However, I can tell you that all the keys to the rooms here are made of brass. A silver key. That must be for something outside the castle, or a hidden passage we weren't told about.
Is that so? As I murmur under my breath, I feel my heart suddenly start to beat faster. That key is where it has to lead wherever Hazel is being kept. There's no possibility this is a coincidence any longer. Emily, do you know where Arden is? I need to see him.
Yes, I just left him before I came here. He said he was going out into the garden to clear his head.
Oh, okay. I hurry over to the door, smoothing back my hair with one hand and straightening my jacket. Many thanks. Have a good evening now. We're just gonna leave her in the room? Okay, well, that's probably not the best way to leave a woman worried sick about her kidnapped daughter. Despite being guiltily aware of this, I jogged down the hallway and to the stairs, darting down them 2 at a time. The main hall is dark, and for the first time I realized how late it must be. Damn it, the last thing I wanted to do was skip dinner. No time to worry about that. I scold my selfish inner monologue and I run across the huge hallway, heading towards the exit to the garden. If Arden and I can find this passageway or ask someone who I know, we could have Hazel back by tonight. Out in the garden, I devolved into the hedge maze, wandering around while impatiently searching for a familiar head of red hair. Arden? Arden, where are you? Not hearing a reply, I leave the maze and wander through the throngs of tall rose bushes instead. Arden! Damn, did he leave already?
Riv, over here!
Jesus Christ! To my surprise, a loud whisper comes from nearby. I hurriedly glance around and finally spot Arden, crouching by the edge of the path. What on earth are you doing down there, Arden? This is no time to be playing with ants! When I draw close, he suddenly grabs my arm and pulls me down beside him.
I was chasing someone, and then they disappeared.
What? His urgent whisper makes me freeze. Chasing someone? What if... a figure in dark clothes? A long cloak? Arden's eyes widen at my description, but he anxiously nods.
How'd you know? Did you... Wait, it's not the same...
He seemed to quickly grasp the meaning of my words, and I offer a grim nod. That's a chance he might be our kidnapper, cheeky bastard. I can hear Arden's breathing heavily beside me. He must have been running while I called out to him. His breath tickles against my cheek when he tilts his head towards me. Stop that! What? Abruptly, Arden grabs my shoulder and pulls me against him. Caught off guard, I topple in his arms, grunting in surprise. Split second later. What is going on? In that moment, something suddenly cuts a breeze through the space between us. Something that slices the bushes behind me, sharp enough to tear the leaves. What the fuck is happening? I turn to see the cloaked figure standing down the path, arm extended, throwing motion. You absolute shit stain, you missed again! Yo, if he's an assassin, you're terrible at this! Gritting my teeth, I start to pull Arden up and run after him when... To my shock, Arden's already dashing forward at top speed. To figure I can't even bolt before Arden reaches him, swiping out with a suddenly unsheathed but oh my god! The cloak figure pulls out a rapier from his waist, just something to parry Arden's swing. Arden, what do you think you're My vote catches in my throat when I glimpse at the expression on Arden's face. His eyes are burning with a cold vengeance I've never seen before. A shiver ran down my spine reflexively, and I clutched the grass beneath my feet with trembling fingers. Oh my god! The two figures keep swiping and parrying at an incredible pace, both on complete offense. Fast. The shadow attacker's voice comes in a grunt as he aims low to swing at Arden's hips. Woo! Yeah, go Arden! I hope he doesn't die. I know there's like good and bad endings for like all the routes. I just hope he's, don't die, please, thank you. Before it comes close, Arden catches it with his own blade, shoving the assassins away.
When I throw you in the dungeons, you'll wish you'd never been born.
The voice that I can barely recognize comes from Arden's lips. Suddenly, his longsword suddenly cuts through the air, and a flash of red stain in my vision. Ooh, a gasp of pain comes from the cloak assassin as he stumbles back, clutching his side. Arden, don't! Ignoring me, Arden brings his blade down in a huge swing. Dude, don't kill him! Ignoring me, Arden brings his blade down in a huge swing, but the assassin lifts his own just in time to block it. He stumbles back and Arden rains down in a succession of blows onto him, which the man barely manages to parry in time. Soon, their blades cross again, but this time the assassin can't pull away from Arden's sword. If this goes any longer, he's going to! The frigid gleam stays in Arden's gaze as he forces the assassin down to the ground, the tip of his blade struggling towards the figure's throat. Don't kill him! We still need him alive, though! This is bad. Why won't he come to his senses? What do I have to say? Arden, you're not a murderer! That isn't the Arden who I... Hesitating, Arden glances over at me, a strained look on his face. His gaze is uncertain, almost lost. Suddenly, the assassin springs off of the ground and starts... How does this guy get away? He got slashed in the arm. Or the side, whatever. How can he... Yeah, exactly. How can he even run with a side injury like that? Don't let him get away! I hurl my weight forward in a sprint, grabbing Arden's arm and pulling him with me. His ragged breath echoes in my ear as he runs beside me, still clutching his blade.
I'm sorry.
Was he just, like, trying to prove himself again? Like, if he kills this guy, does he think, like, oh, Rivian will respect me now? That's not how it works, dude. Don't apologize now, idiot. We just need to catch him. Arden lowers his head slightly, his lips curled in a grimace. Our footsteps churn in the ground as we race after the figure who darts into the hedge maze. Suddenly, a sharp rounds a corner and we lose sight of him. Shit, there aren't many paths that he can go down. We reach the distant corner and the path slips into two in front of us.
I'll go left.
Sounding determined, Arden unhesitatingly disappears down the left path. Just go and decide without me then! Oh my god. Grumbling, I run down the right path, waving through the tight maze. I see splatters of blood on the ground beneath my feet. This must be the right way. Panting, I force myself to run faster, following the crimson trail. Finally, I emerge into a small clearing. Aha! So you surrender, is that... My victorious declaration trails off. Before me lies the cloak assassin, but there's a large pool of blood beneath him, and a thick, dark gash in his back. What? How? Stunned, I slowly approach his body. A hesitant prod of my boot doesn't entice any movement. He's definitely dead. Wait, that's not from Arden, is it? Did someone kill him? Hurried footsteps suddenly rustle from behind me. Tensing, I sharply run towards them, bracing myself. But it's Arden who rushes forward, his teeth grated together.
Riv!
His eyes flick over my face and to the slumped figure. A look of horror quickly overcomes his features, and he takes a step back. I found him like this, but there was no one else here. Arden slowly approaches the assassin's body, kneeling down beside him. I unthinkingly hold my breath, praying a blade doesn't suddenly come swiping at Arden's heels. But instead, the corpse stays unmoving as Arden turns the figure onto his back.
He's been stabbed in the chest. The blade must have gone straight through him.
But who stabbed him? A morbid awe in his voice, Arden examines the wound of the assassin, his eyebrows knitted together. Poor bastard, how did he get caught off guard? I didn't even hear him scream. Baffled, I crouch beside Arden. The long stench of blood makes my stomach shift, but I force the sense of nausea back down.
I don't understand either. There was no one else out here.
That's weird. Unless it's like... Unless they have like if they have a smoke grenade and we know the smoke. But he has a point too. If this man was stabbed in the chest, how come he didn't scream or anything? Unless it was someone who knew him, or who he knew would be in the garden. Take a sharp inhale. Arden reaches into the figure's hood and peels it back. Don't recognize his face. Maybe some hired goon who got mixed up on all of this?
Maybe. But he fought like a professional. Not like your average hitman.
Arden sinks back onto his haunches, his eyes closing and let out a slow sigh.
If I just captured him then, it would have taken one kick to disable him.
He bitterly slides his blade back into his sheath at his side, then balls his finger into fists. I can tell that he feels responsible, and the look of guilt in his eyes tugs at me uncomfortably. Now listen, Arden, it wasn't your fault. The heated battle gets the best of us, and all that. I'm sure it would happen to me too, but I never got into fencing. Besides, if we captured him, and he was still a target to whoever did this to him, wouldn't they stab us too? I motion to the gaping wound in the assassin's chest, and Arden glances up at me in surprise. How can he go from looking like a madman to a lost puppy in a span of minutes is beyond me.
Riv, he tried to kill you twice. I couldn't just...
Yeah, of course not. Shh, what's done is done. Let's drag his body out in the back and tell the guards, and head back inside before one of us gets gutted. I haul the corpse's left arm over my shoulder and motion Arden to get his right. He reluctantly complies, and we carry the assassinated assassin slowly out into the hedge maze. There's an awkward silence as we pull the corpse back into the castle, but I don't know if we can really make a small talk while carrying a dead body. We leave the cloaked figure on the ground and find the nearest guard, and Arden explains what happened. The man's eyes resemble a saucer's that we go through the details, and he quickly leaves us to gather some of the guards to take us to the unsightly course. By the time we re-enter the hall, I feel like I'm in a bit of a daze, and the memory of the fight seems distant enough to be a bizarre dream.
I'm sure they'll keep it hushed up. Last thing they want is for the guests to panic, you know?
What? Arden suddenly winces, his hands jerking up into his abdomen. His clothes splatter with blood, but I figure it was the assassin, not his. Oh my god. No! Is he hurt? Arden, are you hurt? I didn't see you flinch during the fight.
You're not supposed to show it, Riv. Besides, it's just a scratch.
Don't lie to me. He takes his hand off his shirt, but I can see a long cut on his chest. Now that the excitement is worn down, he's probably quite a bit of pain. Why didn't you say something sooner, you damn fool? Come on. Clicking my tongue angrily, I haul his arm around my shoulder and pull him towards the stairs.
I didn't know you'd play my nurse, Riv.
Oh my god. Sounding a little woozy, he's clearly happy. He snickers and leans his weight against me. I grumble under my breath and guide him up the hallway, hoping he's not dripping any blood onto the nice carpet as we walk along. Why would you be concerned about that? Okay, guys, I'm gonna end the episode right here. That was exciting. A lot of things just happened. Freaking Arden kissed Rivian. Kind of caught the assassin, but he kind of died. But now I'm just wondering, like, Rivian has a point. If he was just stabbed by some random guy, probably he would have screamed or, like, fought back. But it's probably someone he knew. So maybe it's probably, like, the cult people. Maybe Celeste, because she's acting weird too. Or it could be Silas. That's who I'm putting my money on. The bad guy, Silas. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments, because, like, everything is so mixed up and I don't know, like, what exactly to believe. Thank you once again to AGirlAndAGame for sending me a Steam key. And if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to join the companions. And if you'd like to help support the channel on Patreon, the link is in the description. Or you can support the channel for free with gawkbox.com/AGirlAndAGame. All you have to do is make an account, open it up on mobile, download the games and play them, and then you donate real money to the channel, which will help me continue this series and continue the channel overall. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! What if I... What? Who is it? A sudden tap comes to my shoulder, and I whirl around fast enough it almost lose my balance. Allies to the main characters. These powerful beasts are known as summons. They are extraordinary beings that can be called into battle by their summoner. They are also depicted as